Test, test, test. Okay, we're good to go. Hey everybody, hope you guys have been fantastic. Happy Monday here. I'm standing up for today, so you guys might not be able to see Loki, but he's up here climbing on my shoulder or trying to climb up on the shoulder. Lots to talk about today. Loki's really mad. He can't hop on my shoulder right now, but he says hello. A lot of stuff to talk about here today, guys. We already know Bitcoin's broken out. We're going to try to continue that breakout this week. But on top of all of that, we also have to deal with a few things here. Again, sorry, Loki's trying to tackle me as always. We have to really deal. We really have to deal with the fact that both the NASDAQ and the S&P are back up against those resistance levels right now, and it's going to be a tall order to actually break out. However, this week is going to be that week to test everything out. So let's kind of hop in here to the Bitcoin charts, NASDAQ charts, and S&P, because things are going to get interesting here, folks. There we go. So just to kind of go into what Bitcoin's doing at the moment before we go over to the traditional markets, Bitcoin's had a good week so far. It's only the second day here, but so far we're green, and that's a good thing to see, right? We're continuing after this breakout, and at least according to the weekly chart, I would say, technically, we didn't manage to break out. So this week is going to be very important if you want to see Bitcoin break out on the weekly chart here. If we go over to the daily chart, you guys will see a different story where we have broken out and we've done multiple days of staying above this. I know the weekly chart can be a little bit different than the daily chart. I just want you guys to notice that I don't think the weekly chart closed, although the daily chart did, okay? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, on the daily we did, but sometimes the weekly chart can mess things up a little bit, okay? All right, now, so far, if you go to the 4-hour chart, we're just taking a little bit of a ride right now above the 20 moving average on this 4-hour chart. Just like last time, my strategy is not changing. If you guys are buying this pump up, I'm only going to be hesitant if we break down below that 20 moving average here. And hey, Puma, happy to see you back, my man. If we decide to break down below this 20, that's where I get scared all over again because it's just not a good place to be, especially with where the market is at this specific time. So, again, it wasn't the end of the rally. Remember what we were talking about? But it would symbolize a larger move down where you would see altcoins drastically come down, and you saw altcoins drop about 5 to 10% depending on which coins you were looking at. That's what's going to happen this time. So again, I want to be very, very careful, and I want to see Bitcoin go to a new breakout high, so to speak. Basically just going above 23,366, it looks like, for the Bitcoin to US dollar. That's not Bitcoin Tether, but Bitcoin to US dollar. If we can make a new high here, I think we can actually make a way back up to $24,000. But until that happens, I'm watching this 20 moving average here very, very closely. I do not want to break down below this. And of course, we see the 50 continuing to move up here. If we do end up breaking back down below this 20, I would hope it happens somewhere around 24,000, 25,000. That way we can do a moderate pullback, but not actually break back down below some of these trend lines here that have been taking months and months and months for us to actually break back above, okay? And hey, the Razorback, happy to see you back, man. Hope you're doing well. So, as Bitcoin continues to make this move, we can even look on the 15-minute chart. It's still kind of going up here bit by bit with a slight tap on support right there and a slight tap of support right there as well. I need to get an auto because it's messing it up. There you go. Tap right here. Tap right here. We're still doing just fine, everybody. This is where the problem comes in, and I'll use one of my friends, I guess I'll say acquaintances, technical analysis on this chart as well. Let's just start off with the NASDAQ, I would say first. So this is what's the other? It's the NASDAQ. All right. So we see right here on the weekly, the NASDAQ did manage to break out this week. That's very, very good. Not the larger breakout that we've been talking about that started when the market was pretty much at those all-time highs, but we have had a smaller breakout here, almost like a double bottom. We have the bottom here, neckline right up here around 12,133. That's our current goal to break out above because it also lets us break out above this trend line. It also lets us break out above the 50-week moving average. That's where you could see the NASDAQ have a significant pump, and that's where Bitcoin itself, I think, can have a really nice pump as well. However, this is the thing. All right. We don't have to worry about this breakout. We've already done it. It's not really the largest breakout anyway. We want to pay attention to this red line here, okay? Today or tomorrow, today's daily candle for Bitcoin is what I'm talking about, but tomorrow or the day after, we're going to be testing this out for quite a bit. Also testing out this 200 daily moving average. We haven't been above this since it looks like March of 2022, so almost a year ago now, I would say. 10 months or so. So that's the big thing you have to worry about here. As far as your normal Fibonacci extension levels and stuff like that, it's not really too much of a hassle, right? Hasn't been too big of a thing. We had some resistance here, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit up here. It really just kind of matches it. So I'm not really thinking this is going to be some extra level of resistance we really have to worry about. It just goes back to that downward trend and the 200 daily moving average here. What concerns me is more about what I saw on the SPY. I was watching one of Colin's videos, and he made this interesting point. This is the S&P 500. And you guys can see that just like the NASDAQ, we've been in this downtrend for quite a bit of time. It's, no surprise here. However, something that I didn't notice that Ben actually talked about, Ben, I forget his last name, but you guys know what I'm talking about. He made the point that every time we have a drastic move down like this, it normally happens on a Tuesday. So if you guys see this right here, that's on a Tuesday when we got rejected. Over here, this was a Tuesday where we got rejected and started coming back down. Again, a Tuesday over here where we started to get rejected and pushed back down. And of course, this whole thing really started over here on a Tuesday. So I'm not saying that history is going to 100% repeat itself and stuff like that. However, I do want you guys to know that tomorrow is Tuesday, and history says, at least from this bear market started, for the most part, we end up getting rejected on those days. It doesn't mean we're going to have a full-on tank day. It just means that's normally where we hit our high point, and then from then on out, we start to go back down in an unpleasant way. So we'll see how bad things get. Last time we only dropped a little bit. The time before that, yeah, we definitely dropped quite a bit. And the time before that, we definitely dropped a little bit. But it wasn't like it was just a straight downward move. We had some little pops here, some different patterns, heads and shoulders and whatnot. But for now, everybody, tomorrow is really that big day where if you guys are at work or you guys don't really have enough time to look at the market, you should really just take that bathroom break and just look at the Robinhood app or the Webull app or TradingView app, whatever app you got, and just say, hey, are we breaking out or not? Because if we're breaking out, awesome. But if we're not, you're going to see a lot of resistance hit up there later on tomorrow, okay? But the good thing, at least from what I've seen, depending on if you guys like the SPY or whatnot, a lot of these different assets actually still have a little bit more room to run. I mean, maybe what's some of the things we've been talking about the past weeks? I would say Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, really. So, Apple still has a little bit more room to run up before it hits this trend line here. It actually got rejected off of getting pretty close there today. But this still has another leg up it can make. It's had a nice little few bounces, a little bit of a double bottom. It's a little bit double top over here. Managed to roar back though off of a support level. We're getting close, but we still have some more room to run up. If we manage to break out above that, then of course, guys, guess what? That means that NASDAQ will probably be breaking out as well. That's going to be what's happening here. As far as Tesla, let me see. I mean, Tesla's kind of following our plan, actually. It's still going back up here. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. It's still going back up. I think it's eventually going to have a turnaround. My timing might not be the best, so we'll actually see. But I do expect it to eventually come back down and probably break back down below 109. But again, that's when the economy really starts to get worse. We haven't seen the economy get that bad yet. I think all we've really talked about are sales are going in the wrong direction now. Production's going in the wrong direction now. That's not good. But we haven't seen a mass flushing out of, Nordstrom's laying off people, Macy's laying off people, all the mom and pop shops laying off half their staff. People are still spending money. It's just you're seeing that deceleration and now it going down. But imagine the roller coaster. We made it to the top. We're just now starting to creep on over. The front of the roller coaster is off the peak of the hill, but the back of the roller coaster is still on top of the hill or still being pushed up. That's kind of where we're at, and we don't yet know how much further we have to go down. That's why when I show you guys all that data as far as sales data, let me see if I can find this here for you guys. Sales data charts. Maybe I don't have it just on me. Economy. There we go. When we talk about these different charts, you can see how we were doing okay, sure, decelerating, fine, but still positive. Now that we're staying more consistently negative, and now that the acceleration downward is increasing, you're going to see some problems there. But for now, the market's doing okay. And the fact is, as a lot of these companies are doing layoffs, like you just heard about with Microsoft, that is giving a nice little bump to some of these market caps just because, again, they're lowering the expenses and they're increasing their cash flow here. They don't have to really spend as much money on all these people, to be honest. And it may help them when they try to rehire people down the road. They can try to hire them for less of a price. because a lot of these engineers get paid quite a bit of money, right? But even Microsoft, that broke out a few days ago, it bounced back down off of support, but it's just hitting at a little bit of resistance here. So you're seeing that wall line up with a lot of different assets out there. But I would say, guys, give it some time. This week is just going to be an interesting ride. As far as Amazon, it does have to deal with that 20-week moving average here. Not normally a big level of resistance here. You guys can see it really doesn't matter all too much. Let me make sure this is actually the right 20 here. Yeah, 20, yeah. Not really too much of a hassle. So now it's acting like a hassle, but maybe a little bit there. But normally we just kind of break above it, break down below it. It's not too much of a hassle here for us. I would say the only thing that really concerns me is probably this Fibonacci retracement level here. We don't have to worry about that, I guess, too much since we're not coming back down that far that fast. But maybe if I go over here to the daily chart, there's just not really much here. I mean, maybe here, but we even find another low there. So there's not really much as far as the retracements. Let me go over to the 4-hour chart and maybe I can find something there. There's not really much there to find out some nice levels. Maybe if I just go here, let's do a small one. Yeah, kind of matching some resistance levels right there. There's not really much there here. So basically all I'm looking at is that 20 moving average, or you could consider this level right here, this old previous support. But most stocks and assets out there, they're just at a level of resistance. Let's see if the market as a whole can really rally, because again, today Nvidia was up a lot, breaking out, or at least coming back up to that level of resistance as well. Again, you're just seeing a lot of resistance and you're seeing a lot of different theories play out, but we're back above the 50-week moving average for the first time since March, again, like almost 10 months ago. So you're seeing a lot of rallies here. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do for some of my longer term assets here. Part of me wants to start selling off some Nvidia. In the case that the market decides to go back down over the next few weeks or months, I'll have an opportunity to buy more. But I'm honestly just thinking that, hey, maybe it's better just to hold on to them and just do the more prudent thing. I managed to get Nvidia way down here around 130, 120. You know what? And it used to be up here at 340. I'll be okay if it goes back down below that, and I'll be able to buy some if it goes all the way down here to 73 or $80, wherever that bottom ends up coming. I'll be perfectly happy about that. But I mean, as far as I'm looking right here, what do we have? A shoulder, head, a shoulder. We could potentially have some type of inverse head and shoulder here play working out for Nvidia. Now, of course, that's going to be a little bit more difficult here, but you can see within those shoulders there's double bottoms here. Maybe a rectangle reversal here, I would say. Not really much. But, on the daily moving averages, we're all kind of moving back up here. So it's going to be an interesting fight, but I do think tomorrow is going to be a battle. Hopefully it's not just a rout. That kind of freaked me out even more. But again, as far as the stock market's concerned, we're just rearing up, and Bitcoin's kind of been leaving the stock market behind, I would say, over the past few weeks. Maybe because Bitcoin did fall down so much more after the FTX fiasco. Because I think let me just show it like this. NASDAQ, from the lows over here to where we're at currently. No, what is it? More December, I guess, during those lows. It's rallied up like about 10% or so. But Bitcoin, from those lows back over here November, December after the FTX scandal, that's, we're about 50% up from where we were before. But if you take into account where we were over here before the FTX event that really just demolished Bitcoin, Bitcoin's only up about 25%. That kind of tracks more of what we know about how Bitcoin goes up relative to the stock market. But I think the fact that FTX took Bitcoin out to that next level that I don't think we were supposed to go down to, maybe whales don't think we were supposed to get down there, whatever. It's been fascinating to watch. As far as everything else is concerned, Ethereum still hasn't broken out yet like we want to. You can see we've had these smaller breakouts here. The first one just like Bitcoin, the second one just like Bitcoin. But really, guys, the one that I most pay attention to is this one right here. We still haven't broken out. So I'm keeping a close eye on it. We're at a level of resistance here as well. I'm really hoping Ethereum can break out because that might just let the traditional or the crypto market take off while the NASDAQ and the SPY maybe just go more sideways. And remembering, everybody, that just because we break out doesn't mean we just go sky high. It can just mean we break the downtrend and go into a sideways trend. Perfectly fine for me as well, but I think I'd speak for all of us when I think we just want to see Bitcoin start to roar, right? And, I would only call crisis mode. I would only call some type of crisis mode here if we manage to break down from this pattern. And at this point, we're really far away from actually having any type of breakdown as far as Ethereum is concerned. We would have to fall about 29-30% in order to have that breakdown. Fine. Dogecoin continuing to rally, another breakout here. I don't know if you guys traded that Dogecoin breakout. So far, it's been working out pretty fine. It's been, I would say, pretty fun for the fact that we can start to do a little bit more swing trading here. I'm still a bit more antsy as far as swing trading is concerned because of how unpredictable the market has been with like bad news coming out, me wondering about all these investigations, debt ceiling stuff now entering the equation. But, so far, most of these coins are doing okay. You can even see over here, BNB finally broke back out above the 50-week moving average. Last time, obviously, wasn't a good sign, but that's because it was matching up with where Bitcoin was and Bitcoin's own death cross there. But ADA getting back up to a level of resistance. STMX at a level of resistance. Hopefully can break out above the 20-week. I'm hoping. I really am hoping on that one. We got Solana here breaking above. Matic over here breaking above. Matic is something that I just want to see surge. Again, it's at a level of resistance here, but the fact that we managed to break and hold above the 50-week moving average here, I would really like to see a nice little boom and pop. For now, though, just basically watching this little trend line, I wouldn't be surprised if it came down a little bit more over the next few hours, and then the morning time, more and most of us are awake, then we have that pop. But I really am watching Matic as my big play for tomorrow as far as a day trade is concerned. As far as downtrends or breakdowns, it's not really my most important thing I'm looking for right now. And mostly will be rejections. We have a few different patterns you can pop up here. But again, I want to see Matic breakout. XRP, sure, had a small breakout. Looking okay. Bitcoin Cash still doing okay after we had that news about, I think it's it's Bitcoin Gold getting delisted. I think Bitcoin Cash is still fine. And right here, Engine Coin, if you guys want something fun, something that has the potential to pop, this is something else I'd probably say keep an eye on. Careful with it because it has rallied up quite a bit. It's gone from 22 cents back up to 43, almost 100% profit there. But we're trying very, very hard to pop back up above that 200 daily moving average that we haven't been above since January of 2022. That's a year ago, everybody. So keep an eye on these. Just managed to break above the 20 as well here. Guys, the market's in a really good spot. Of course, we've had these types of crazy swings and stuff like that. But for now, we're in a good spot. Just watch out for some of those things that are popping up over the next few weeks. Again, those few things could be interest rate hikes. That could be big earnings reports coming out as far as Apple, Google, you know what I'm talking about there. And then at the same time, dollar index, if I can find the dollar index here. There we go. Dollar index is heading for a level of support. We don't want to bounce. Typically, we just want to at least go sideways or break down. I think we have the ability to go down, but again, once today's the 23rd, we have about a week and a half until we get that interest rate hike. That may give us a short-term pump, but as long as the other economies continue to raise their own rates, I think the dollar should continue to go down because we kind of started this race before a lot of other countries did because everybody, remember, our government was even late to the ball because we called it transitory. In hindsight, 2020, but definitely not the best call at the time. But even looking at these weekly charts, death cross is almost imminent for the US dollar index. I mean, not imminent, but it'll happen over the next few weeks. But Bitcoin itself, remember, we have this death cross coming up, and death crosses usually haven't been the best for Bitcoin or other assets in general. So remember, 20 down, 2050 down. I don't have the other one here. Yeah, 2050 there, 2050 there, nasty move. 2050 there, nasty move, and 2050 here, nasty move. We've never had the 50 drop down. It's not going to be the end of the world. But right now, guys, it's not a bad time. I'm kind of watching everything kind of play by play, but we're still making some nice sideways moves for now. Kind of just probably waiting for the market to open back up tomorrow. Just waiting to see if tomorrow is going to be a good day for breaking out as far as the NASDAQ's concerned, SPY is concerned, or if unfortunately maybe we just kind of go sideways and it's kind of like a little bit of a red day, a little bit of a green day. I don't want to see that. I want to see a robust pop tomorrow if we're going to have Bitcoin try to make its way back up to that next price target of around $24,000, $25,000. That's really what we need. We don't want to see some weird sideways action. We need to see that next big pop there. But at least for now, Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart, we're gearing up. Short-term looking here, guys. Just watch out and see if we can hold this 20 moving average. That's your short-term priority if you're asking me, okay? Let's see. And hey, Ken, happy to see you back, my man. Do you think this tech pump is a fake out? Probably just based on how we've been dealing over the past few months. However, we're back up to those levels of resistance. So if I go back over here to the NASDAQ, go back to the weekly, right? This is the Dow Jones. I need to separate this out. There we go. I tried to get rid of something so I could have like more data here, but all it does is squish it together even more, and it still leaves me with this empty space. You see all the empty space right there? I thought it would like push it. Oh, see, there we go. Okay, all right. Wait, but why? Okay, hold on. Okay, that'll do. I didn't know you could do that. Okay, I'm gonna have to make a video on that. I never mess with this stuff on the right hand side besides adding and subtracting stuff usually. Okay, let's go over here to the NASDAQ. We're just back at another level of resistance here. Last time it was the 20-week moving average, and I wouldn't even say pay attention to a lot of these moving averages here. I would just say pay attention to the individual stocks within the NASDAQ. So, here, let's kind of go through it very fast. Like, what? August 22nd, Monday. We can get rid of these. These were just for short-term things. What did I say? August. So August. Oh, August 15th of 22. That's what I meant to do. Okay. All right. So right here, August 16th. Right here, August 15th. We're back at that level of resistance, but you can actually see that. Oh, no, it didn't break out. I must have done this on the weekly chart, and it's just a little bit off. Well, actually, let's see. So that's the high. Did we break out? We did. Yeah, we broke out right there, and you can see how that level of resistance was still there. So let me go over here very fast. You can kind of see basically how the NASDAQ is just reacting to where a lot of these other specific stocks within the index are actually at. Now, as far as, I don't know, Netflix, I don't know what Netflix was doing back over here in August 22nd. No, it wasn't doing anything of important. It had already crashed down so much. Oh my gosh. Maybe Amazon over here. Yeah, August 22nd, right over here. Back up against, I guess, like the 200. I don't even have a trend line over here. This wasn't even matching up with a trend line. I never even made it back up there. But you're just seeing a lot of different assets at different levels of resistance, and all of them at the same time get rejected. That really pulls down the NASDAQ. Hey, David, you said something about the SPY here. Let me go make sure my SPY chart looks okay for you. SPY. That trend line right here. Going from the high, let me make that precise. I think a lot of these are just off of weekly charts. Yeah, my trend line starts on January 4th of 2022, goes all the way over here to Tuesday, the 29th of March of 2022. And it keeps on going down. You'll see over here, we didn't hit it. We ran into the 200 weekly moving average. Over here, we came close to hitting it. Right now, we're coming close to hitting it again. And of course, we're still in this slight uptrend. This uptrend is going to be interesting to see if we do manage to come back down. But look at those moving averages there between the 20 and the 50 and the 200. We should have a little bit of front crossover. We haven't been this close for a while. Maybe back over here. That really didn't end well, but hopefully this time, since we've fallen down so much, we have an opportunity to bounce back up a little bit more. And of course, again, on the SPY, we do have that 50-week moving average. They're causing us a little bit of pain. Again, a large level of resistance. It'll take a really robust pop to get us out of it. That robust pop, as far as the SPY and the NASDAQ, really should get Bitcoin, your crypto assets, really pumping up here and soaring. Now, again, I'm more of a guy that's in this bearish camp that overall I think we are going to be coming back down. But, while the market's going hot, I'm not afraid to, do a little bit of trading off it and still continuing my dollar cost averaging strategy. Okay, anything else that's worth talking about today? Anything really popping? Not really. I see ApeCoin's up 2%. Solana's up 2%. BNB's up 4%. Let me take a quick peek here at BNB for the last maybe 15 minutes or so. Yeah, so it just popped up here, I guess, a few hours ago, about an hour and a half ago or so. Still moving up here a little bit better. So keep an eye out for BNB. Definitely hitting some type of resistance up here around 319. Solana coming back down a little bit here. And the last one, ApeCoin, had a little bit of a pump, but definitely came back down really fast. I wonder what that was. Looks like it broke out of some level of resistance. I don't know what, though. What is this? Oh, this is just a Fibonacci level. Yeah, it's just trying to break above it on the daily. Yeah, a few pivot points have worked out here. Mostly moving averages. Let's go over here to the 15. kind of wait Bitcoin out here. Hopefully, it can make a move over the next few hours. But I'm really just watching the 20 moving average here, folks, on the 4 hour. It has not let me wrong. Has not let me down just yet. There we go. And hey, Larry, minute 49 to 51 of Proctor Gamble earnings. They discuss how up to 80% of their China factory and research centers workers are sick. This was before the 2-week Chinese New Year celebration. Thoughts? Did they say that because they were sick they weren't working? Part of me always assumes that just because they're sick doesn't mean China won't make them work. I do think it'll hurt China's growth down the road, and I do think it may hurt some production. But I don't think that we really are demanding a large amount of production right now from China. They're opening up. It should be okay down the road. Maybe there's a little bit of problems as far as growth is concerned for this quarter that we see next quarter. So probably when that report comes out in maybe April or June or something like that. Or excuse me, April or May. But for now, I wouldn't put too much stock into it. I think it just kind of reinforces that that feeling that we're kind of heading in the wrong direction here. But again, not because of the economy. This one specifically for COVID. America has been kind of over COVID for a while. They tried to keep, the lockdowns going for a while, but people just kind of got fed up with it. And because we have elections here a little bit different than China, the politicians were afraid that if they kept on trying to go against, what people wanted as far as to open back up, they might get voted out of office and lose their power. So thank God for democracy, right? It's a problem. It'll show itself in numbers, but I think it'll just add on to already bad numbers that we're already going to be getting, if that makes sense. That's why when we go look at retail sales and just a whole bunch of other stuff, the charts just aren't going in the right direction, right? It's not like this is going to make something that was good go bad. It's just going to make something that's already bad kind of go a little bit worse, perhaps. But again, maybe I would have to figure out exactly how the Procter & Gamble supply chain works and what type of assets they have that maybe go to other companies and if it's more widespread than that. But so far, definitely going back down. The only shocker I really saw from this data here over the past few weeks that we've been getting is more than December was bad, right? December was bad. We all know that. But the fact that they had to revise November to being much worse than it was before, that was the concern. I was like, uh-oh, that's way worse than it was before. So now we got to worry about, some other stuff here. But, this website is called Trading Economics. I encourage you guys, if you guys ever get bored like I do, just come over here and maybe look at some news. U.S. building permits dropped a 31-month low. You can kind of go through here and see, whoa, less buildings are being made. That probably means less houses are being made as well. Stuff like this can be very interesting. You can always put it out to like a 5-year and see, okay, 2020 kind of came down. No, now we've been going down for a while here, right? Now, we're not going to any crazy levels. We're kind of just getting back to those pre-pandemic levels, so maybe not the craziest thing. So, but we're definitely not seeing the growth. The growth is what's slowing down right now. That's the concern, all right? But overall, we'll see how bad this gets, but it looks like it's found a short-term stay here, maybe short-term. But again, some of these news stories are kind of interesting just to kind of see what happens. New home sales building back up. That's pretty nice to see, right? They were getting kind of crazy because of inflation and interest rates a few months ago. Now they're coming back up again. Let's go right to 5 years out. Definitely been cooling off since the pandemic and everybody was freaking out and trying to buy any mountain house they could. But, we're at a local bottom area. It's fine. We're at 2019 levels, 2018 levels. Not really particularly crazy, right? That's not like something to be really concerned about. Crude stocks unexpectedly rise. I've already ranted about my oil stocks enough. U.S. housing starts fall less than expected, right? So that's good news that it didn't fall as much. Anything else? Lebanon inflation rate. Let's see. I'm trying to think of anything else here. Home ownership rate. There's just a bunch of stuff you can do. Taxes. I don't know, taxes. Or anything that taxes. Oh no, this stuff stays pretty standard. Yeah. Trump's tax cuts. You can see how they just dropped like a rock, and that's kind of what fueled a lot of the boom we saw during the Trump administration. A lot more investment, kind of what you call the Microsoft overhiring. They really didn't overhire. They just had all this extra money, and they were doing it for stock buybacks, hiring more people, creating more jobs. It makes sense. It's just, how do we get that revenue back in other forms? That's kind of how the Congress kind of navigates all that type of stuff. I'm not a accounting guy, so I have no idea if this thing actually generated more income or not. I guess I could find out, but not on this not maybe on this website, but I ain't gonna go on to all that type of stuff. But you go over here the last like 50 years of tax rates. uh, yeah, we definitely have an interesting tax rate history as far as corporations. We kind of were low down here in the 1930s, 1940s. We started building back up. Again, war, more money, government need more money to expand, right? Social programs, stuff like that. We kind of been keeping a lot of those programs and building up, but now we're having less and less tax revenue from these situations. Very interesting. It kind of depends on which your economic philosophy, but I always like to look at this type of stuff. Personal income rate, depending on which you guys are. Again, Trump cut that a little bit, not as much. You'll see from like 39.6 to 37. But again, go back like last 50 years, 35, 39. This happened in 2014, it looks like. So, what was in 2014? That was really bad. I know 2008 financial crisis. I don't know what happened in 2014. Personally, I didn't even know the taxes got raised in 2014. I was in college in 2014, so I wasn't really caring about as much as my pay and stuff like that. But yeah, so you can go over here and look at history and that type of stuff. It's pretty fun if I do say so myself, but maybe some of you guys don't think about it as much fun as I do. And hey, Ken, happy to see you back. Is something in the rice? Let's see. Hey, Hennessy Black. Oh, don't say racist stuff. Don't say racist stuff. That's why YouTube hid your comment. What about AMC? It's like stagnant. AMC, remember, AMC is a meme stock. It usually lays dormant until it just pumps up out of nowhere because some rich fellow decides to load up on it while it's low and pump it up, and then while everybody else is buying, he's selling off his shares onto those people. You can kind of ride the wave with him, but usually AMC and those things are usually pretty boring until something really crazy happens. So let me go over to AMC very fast. Weekly. I mean, this thing's just been in a downtrend for a while. Nothing really special about it. You can try to play these waves, so to speak, but you can looking at some long-term bearish moves as far as the death crosses are concerned on the weekly. Found some support back over here at some of this double top places from back in 2020. It's just kind of losing ground, it's what it does, long term. That's what usually meme things do over time, unless they have some type of legitimate business that's really like expanding, growing. They usually don't just keep on going up, right? You see GameStop over here, same thing, right? Still going downhill, maybe not as fast, but it's still going down. It's just the way these types of meme things work out. I traded a lot of meme coins, or I guess I would just call them penny stocks, back in the day when I was first learning to trade, because I was like, I need easy money. What's the easiest way to make easy money? Reddit told me penny stocks, and guess what? I was an idiot and I believed him. So I've had a lot of experience with this type of stuff. I just typically don't trade them, but don't be surprised if they continue to go down as the months go on. They should have some good pops. You could play around with those pops. But again, not everybody has stimulus check money coming in to just toss a bunch of money at these plays like they did back in 2020. Remember, everybody, here in Washington, I had a friend who was making, with the extra $600 a week from the government, like $1,500 a week. And his rent was, I think, like just $1,000. So he had a bunch of disposable income. He put a lot of it in GameStop when it was rallying, and he made a few $1,000 off of it, right? But now that he's used all that money up, or I don't know if he's used the money, but he doesn't have just a whole bunch of free money coming in from the government. He goes back to his job that instead of paying him $1,500 a week, he only makes like $500 a week. He's not going to have all that disposable income, and you can kind of imagine that with millions of people across America. That's what really led to some of the crazy rallies we saw with all this stuff, right? People don't forget how wild the market was, because you see his BNB still going up right now. Don't forget how much money the government was just giving away to stay at home and not work. It was insane. I'm not faulting anybody for taking it. I would have taken it too if I was eligible. But man, there was so much free money in the market. It was just the craziest stuff I've ever seen. And I remember, while the prices were going up like crazy, you're not going to see it now because it doesn't have as much data. But, there were lots of individuals at these companies just selling off mass amounts of their shares. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, the people at AMC, GameStop, selling off mass amounts because it was like, oh, these people are just propping up our stock for meme stocks. well, I want into this action. I have like what used to be $50,000 worth of stocks is now up to like $250,000. I might as well sell it now and take that $250,000 instead of that 50,000. You know, that's what usually happens in these types of scenarios here. So just be careful with them, but they can be pretty fun when everybody has some disposable income. Let's see. And hey, Razorback, anybody else have YFI USD? I think you talked about that before. Pumped up 10% today. I'm super happy. I'm happy it's been moving up here. So far, the only thing I really see moving up right now is generally a lot of stuff, but the big stuff seems to be just BNB, excuse me. Do I support a national sales tax of 30%? No. Sales taxes hurt a lot of people. I think that people at the top of the economics situation should pay more. I think people that are very poor should pay less. And I think the fees, how do I say this? To me, it really depends on how much a person makes, and that's where I see it, a lot of like tax income goes. Like, I'd rather not give people all these benefits, but not give them not charge them as much taxes, right? My mom is on benefits. She's been on benefits my entire life since she's had bad health problems growing up, and then she also broke her back and broke some bones, and she just physically can't work. And she was an electrician for like 10 years. She was like really good at her job. But ever since she got diabetes, kidney disease, just went downhill, right? And so I've noticed a lot of stuff about this broken system. Like, if you're going to get people that can't physically work because of health and stuff like that, fine. But for people that can work, but for whatever situation, like they just don't because the government is kind of paying them to sit at home, I would say don't tax them as much. Let them keep more money so they're working, right? They're working. They can afford to send their kid to school or something like that. But at the same time, you're not taxing, or how do I say this? You're gaining tax revenue off of them because they're working instead of having them sit around and just probably take care of the kid because the child expenses are too expensive right there. It's an interesting calculation. Like, here's an example. My mom will tell me like, hey, because of inflation, they just rose her payment for like her monthly stipend from her Social Security. Let's say they raised it to $700 a month. Okay. Well, because they rose it to $700 a month, my mom also gets food stamps, right? I think it's called EBT. Well, because she got an increase in her money from the government as far as cash, they actually decreased that same amount from her food stamps. So it's this really weird game that the government plays because they're like, oh yeah, we're giving you more money to actually spend on food and groceries and stuff for your house, but at the same time, the person never walks away with more money. I don't know why they try to play this game. I understand how cash can be more beneficial than just having money just for food. But at the same time, most of the inflation that people have at the lower income spectrum, it's not really day-to-day stuff. It's food. I bought my mom a couple of ducks the other day. I bought her some eggs and stuff just because she was like, eggs are getting expensive. And I was like, yeah, they are. So, I even got a duck in my freezer because I got a duck for myself too. But the current system that we have, it's really, really weird. And it also depends that some states have sales taxes and some don't. Washington has like a 10% sales tax, depending on where you're at. I think some places are even higher. Tax, Washington? No, it's not 6.5%. It's not. I swear it's not that low. Um, am I just going off of Seattle prices? There we go. So I pay more of this. So if I go to the store and I spend $5, I'm usually paying. Okay, what are you doing? Don't bite my jacket. He got a jacket from my room just to gnaw on it while I was talking to you guys. Now he's mad at me, or he's just wagging his tail because he thinks he's gonna get a head rub, which he is, but still. Um, you know, uh, think you got $100,000 car, you're paying like $110,000 for it. To me, sales taxes, I don't like them. I'd rather they just take taxes out of how much money you make. Sales tax sucks. That's just me personally. But again, Washington State doesn't have a sales tax. The federal government has a sales tax. So that's how we pay our taxes. So, it all depends on how you see it. I don't like sales taxes personally. But, when I bought this $2,000 camera, I was so frugal, whatever you want to call it. I decided to spend like an extra $100 to go down to Oregon, which has no sales tax, spend a night in a hotel, have a little vacation time, relax, and just go buy the camera down there. And I saved myself like maybe at the end of the day just like $50, but it was like, you know what? $200 on a sales tax, that's enough for me to go down to Portland for the day and just have some fun. It's stuff that's easy like that. But yeah, I hate sales taxes. It's the worst. Property taxes are also pretty bad in my opinion because they don't allow people to kind of pass down their houses to their kids because the kids might not make as much money because I think generational wealth goes away after like three generations. People like get poor. So like if I'm wealthy now, my kids may have some money, but their grandkids will probably be the ones that end up screwing everything up and they lose all the wealth. Stuff like that, right? See, and let's see. Can you get triple Q? Yes, we can. That's the one right there. Let's go to the weekly chart. Yeah, it's matching up a lot with what we've seen kind of around the SPY and stuff like that. Had that false breakout with the SPY just as well. This one broke out according to that one, but again, we can't look at that because I had a false breakdown. Excuse me, false breakout. And what we're seeing again is another opportunity for a breakout. Again, this is more just, I wouldn't even say opportunity for breakout. I would just say, hey, we're at a level of resistance and we're going to have to see how this fares over the next few days. Are we going to manage to break out or not? And again, you can see right here, we're looking at the 200 daily moving average, another level of resistance. We can break out above them, everybody. I'm not saying we can't. I'm just saying it's going to be hard because we've been in this downtrend for such a long time for a lot of these different assets. It's just been getting harder and harder for us to actually break out above them. But I'm just going to go back over here very fast. Yeah, nothing really special about it right now, maybe except for you can always just add your typical Fibonacci extension level right here. Let's go over here to the 4. Resistance there, not so much there. Resistance there, not so much there. Kind of popped up in the middle. And we have one right here, another level of resistance, kind of similar to what we saw off the SPY, right? Now, what was I looking at just now? BNB. BNB still going up higher, so let's look at that for a little bit. I like what I'm seeing here from BNB, though. Definitely moving up a good amount. Let's see. LOLs, they're still working. That could be it as well. I mean, it always depends. I don't even know. Like, every state has some weird rules about how taxes work and how benefits work. I was on benefits when I was a kid. I don't really remember how anything. The only benefits I think I ever got was like food stamps from my mom, food stamps for my like just payment stuff because my mom couldn't work because she had broken her back and stuff. But I don't. I mean, it wasn't a lot of money. We were like in assisted living homes, and like remember I told you, grew up in the ghetto. It only pays for so much. But I think if my mom tried to work and she was actually able, I don't know if they really have a dedicated system to watching people that get benefits to see if they're working or not. I don't think they do because I have friends that I still know that I grew up with in the ghetto, so to speak. Nicer houses now, but still not the safest part of town, to say the least. They have jobs, but they also get benefits from the government. But all the jobs they have are jobs that kind of pay cash. So they may get paid $800 a month from the government, and then maybe they get like $400 in food stamps for them, maybe for them and a kid or something. I don't know how it works. Honestly, these days the prices may be way higher than what I'm accustomed to back when I was in the '90s kid, right? But perhaps. But like at the same time, they're also making another $500, $600 in cash at their side job every month. Maybe it's even more than that. I don't know, but it's the system. I don't know how they can change it because remember, guys, we're a very political nation here. We usually like to fight about politics. Duke them out, so to speak. If I say I want to go after people that are working and also have benefits because they're abusing the system, that might come out as me being against poor people and yada, 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 right? So why would I ever take that position? Or if I do take that position, it'd be very hard to win a district race for that district. Does that make sense? It's politics. You got to frame your stuff the right way, and you got to hope that you don't want to give your opponent an opening for it. Like right now, when it comes to debt ceiling stuff, Republicans say they want spending cuts. Well, guess what Democrats do? Oh my God, they want to cut your Social Security. That same thing they say all the time. Social Security, veterans benefits, yada, yada, yada. Now, I don't know if Republicans want to do that. I know a bill last year that one of the Republicans put out actually did say Social Security cuts, which was like a stupid thing to say. But again, maybe it makes sense, but how does Social Security survive? There's no way I think that they can get it done. I literally don't think there's a way they can get it done. I think our national debt just gets to the point where it cracks and breaks, and then We kind of just have to figure out what happens in the aftermath of all that. Because at this point, how do we get debt under control? I mean, like, honestly, because that means we have to increase taxes on both like citizens and corporations, who I guess are also considered citizens. But we have to raise taxes on a lot of people and a lot of corporations, and then at the same time, the government still has to cut spending. And if you haven't noticed, the government doesn't like to cut spending; it just likes to keep it going up and up and up. Remember, guys. Oh, I didn't spell that right, but that's okay. Let's just go from the 80s over here. Remember, we just kind of like to send this thing up and up and up. Maybe things got bad, in the 70s. And the 70s really kicked this all off with bad inflation. We kind of had to spur money into the economy. But, you had, so Carter kind of kicked things off in a bad way, unfortunately, right? Reagan, debt was climbing up during his administration, not a good thing. Then we went over to Clinton, not a good thing. Even when we had a balanced budget under Clinton, again, not a good thing, right? Still having debt. See right here towards the end, we had Bush coming along. Oh, there was Bush in here somewhere too. The other Bush over here probably increasing stuff as well. Then we had Bush in here. It was flattening out. I mean, it was flattening out. But then what happened? Recession, war. Up we go, up we go, up we go. 2008 financial crisis. Obama needed to steer up the economy again. Boom, boom, boom. Now we're really in high drive. Then Trump comes in office. Then we're really in high drive. Well, we're just continuing on Obama's trend here. COVID hits, recession, boom. And now we're kind of way up here. And again, we have an opportunity to go into a recession later on this year, which will probably happen. And what do you think they're going to do? Probably spend money to go do cool stuff again, right? To go help the economy. It's the system. I honestly just don't see how we do cuts. They could cut like non-essential things. Like I know FBI does really stupid projects every now and again. Department of Education does some really stupid concept training every now and again. They could always try to cut that, but again, that's a political thing. Again, it would just somebody would feel attacked about it and be it'd be a political fight that why would you want to wage it? Yada yada yada. People are going to fight the fight, but it's not going to end the way I don't think people want, because all that stuff is literally going to be like compromised out. There's not going to be any major cuts, I don't think. There may be some type of cap on future spending, but I don't think there's going to be a cut of saying, hey, we have this much money, now let's make it go down. I don't think that's going to happen. And history doesn't say that's going to happen either. So, again, we'll see how this plays out, but I'm perfectly fine just assuming that the government's just going to spend money into oblivion. Eventually, the system will crash, and we'll have to build a new system from the ashes. I just don't know what the ashes are going to look like. I don't think it's going to be some post-apocalyptic Mad Max world or something like that, but I think it's probably going to be some type of Depression-era event where there's lots of unemployment, lots of homeless people. We work ourselves out of it, but we're probably going to have to kind of reset the dollar, if that makes sense. I'm not sure how we reset the dollar, but maybe America and Europe kind of build some type of centralized currency. Who knows? But you guys get my points during all this. I just don't think it's going to end pleasantly. I don't think that we can just change government nature. Maybe that's how I see it, political nature, and see this go back down. The only thing that's been kind of encouraging is to see the Fed balance sheet go down. But even then, there you go. That still is pretty high when you think about it. So maybe this goes down every now and again, right? It's not it's not like straight up like the debt. But again, let's just go over here. This was at what, like 9 million? So is that 9 trillion? I think it is 9 trillion in millions. Yeah, 9 trillion. We went from 9 trillion to 8.5 trillion. I mean, we got a long way to go, folks. So definitely going to be an interesting one. And hey, Elijah, heck yeah, eating duck. Oh, I love duck, guys. Duck is amazing. It's easy to cook. I put it in the pressure cooker. You just shred it up, and it's perfect. And duck fat is a special type of fat. It tastes amazing. Sometimes what I also do if I don't want to push it in the pressure cooker, I will just season the duck up, put some seasoning on the inside, outside, maybe a couple of lemons on the inside, and I'll just stick the whole duck with nothing covering it with the dripping pan underneath it in the oven at 350 or 400 degrees, I forget what it was. And then you just let it sit in there. But because the fat is so much on there, it stays moisturized throughout the whole duck, and you just pull out a nice crispy duck that's really nice and like you crack it apart, and it's not burnt. It's freaking amazing. But also, people think you're fancy for eating duck, but guys, I can get a full duck for like 18-20 bucks at my local Chinese market. Maybe some of you guys don't have local Chinese markets, so it might be a little bit more expensive. But if you guys have a Chinatown, or I buy mine, I think in Little Korea, man, they're good ducks, they're cheap, and they are just amazing. I don't know how much a full chicken costs, honestly, but I would assume it's somewhere around the same price, maybe cheaper. I don't know. I haven't bought a full chicken in years. Fancy. See, exactly, right? Doge is trying to break above the 50 on the weekly. I'm hoping it can. I think Elon just needs to tweet something about Dogecoin. The slightest tweet will send Dogecoin off right now. But again, if we don't break out as far as the NASDAQ and the SPY, then of course all of these different altcoins, all of these different assets like Apple, Amazon, Tesla, whatever, they're also going to hit their resistance and just break back down as well. So that's not what we want to see. I'm hoping at worst tomorrow, we're kind of going sideways or maybe upwards and sideways, kind of like kind of what we had towards the middle end of the day over here, like just kind of going sideways. I'd rather have that or at the worst, and at the best, kind of just have a robust pop. We're kind of starting off here that we kind of build up through the rest of the day. We just don't want to go down tomorrow because that might symbolize some real fear coming out of the market. Because, excuse me, guys, I've been drinking a lot of liquids today. See, Apple was up, Microsoft was up, Nvidia was up, all the semiconductors were up quite a bit, right? But as oil was kind of more sideways today, that's fine. My Schlumberger is down. Retail sales were down. Again, this is kind of more of the fear that we talked about the other day, or just so here, I'm not in anymore, but retail sales going down. It's a problem, but for now, we just hit a level of resistance and we're breaking back down a lot of these different asset classes now. But again, at least Tesla's still in the right way. Tesla's following our plan almost exactly here, though. So watch for some of those bounce plays here and watch for some of those levels of resistance. But again, weekly might go a little bit higher. Unfortunately, I think it's probably going to curl back down. But, as far as resistance levels, we're kind of going up against some of the high points of this. So we might even have a little bit more room to go up. We're kind of hitting that first level, I guess, today. But tomorrow or the day after, we have an opportunity for us to get back up to maybe the 150s or so. That might be kind of fun. And then we'll see what happens after that. And of course, Tesla's looking at some death crosses as far as the 20 and the 200 here pretty soon. Then eventually the 50 and the 200. Well, Apple isn't there just yet. Still has a while to go for Apple. Microsoft getting there as far as their death crosses are concerned. And again, these death crosses don't bode well for things, right? Death crosses there. Back over here in 2010, 11, 12, that was more sideways action. It wasn't too bad. Death crosses over here, but when we're coming out of a high point in the market, these death crosses do have implications. They do have serious downward moves that follow them. But not all. I'm trying to think of longer term plays here, like Facebook. This is the weekly chart still. No, they don't have as much data from then. Home Depot, perhaps? No, Home Depot's not tech, though. It still has those typical moves as far as after the death cross here. But a lot of what we're looking at here is these death crosses not occurring until quarter 2. So as long as we're in quarter 1, we can still have some nice sideways action. And within sideways action, as far as the indexes are concerned, like the NASDAQ, the SPY, Dow, whatever, there are tons of different plays out there that are going up and down and following their own technicals. And that's usually what you're looking for. One of the cool things about oil right now is some oil companies are kind of going more in this neutral kind of cycle of up and down. Some are just doing their own thing. Again, like Schlumberger. Where's Schlum? See, Schlumberger hit new all-time highs just a few days ago. It's coming back down now, but it did hit those all-time highs. That was a pretty nice move. Popping up here from that last little dip from $50 all the way to $60. Not bad. You guys know I like stuff like that, or I guess Zom is something here as well. Close to all-time highs again. I only have a small position because I did scale out of a lot of it over the past few months. I scaled out a lot over here actually, so I'm not really too mad. I think the only thing I've really missed is another dividend payment. But I started selling off over here. I sold a larger chunk over here when we're starting to come back down a little bit more. So I didn't time it perfectly, but I'm fine with taking the profits because I bought a lot of this stuff at the bottom COVID lows. But you got stuff like there you go, PXD. This one's one of my favorites. It's definitely off the highs at 270. It's down here at 241. But again, still has a like almost 11% dividend. I am perfectly fine taking that dividend if it's staying around this 240 level. That's perfectly fine for me. Go back monthly. It's definitely been doing some great things over the past few years. Sure, it may break down eventually. When it does, I'm still going to be holding because I bought way down here. But, you'll have tons of opportunities if you guys wanted to buy it down the road for long-term holdings. You could do it like that. All I would say is if you're going to go long-term on oil, make sure they're doing something. Yeah, there you go. Sustainability, environment. If they're doing something there, they get tons of government money. The government doesn't want you to know they pay for a lot of oil stuff, but they do. But yeah, lots of cool stuff there. I don't know what let's see. But, most of the stuff you see these companies do are in the middle of nowhere. To be honest, it's usually in rural areas where not much is happening. Maybe the only thing I see happening in these types of areas is tons of unnecessary construction, where they have to close off miles and miles of highway, and you don't even see a single construction worker for the entire time you're driving on that highway. I'm down for default, get it over with. I mean, there's going to be a point where we can't pay for it anymore, or we're just going to have to devalue the American currency so much in a way where it just causes more harm than good. I just don't see a way we get ourselves out of this debt situation. I don't know. I'm going to be trying to get some interviews over the next few weeks. I finally finished up a nice email template for myself to send out to Patty Murray, Chuck Schumer, Mitch McConnell, Joe Manchin, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, even though none of those two will probably even take the time to look at the email. Maybe their staff will. Ron DeSantis, the guy from Texas, Abbott, Newsom. I'm going to send an email to him as well. My governor, Jay Inslee. And I'm just going to send a bunch of emails asking them if they want to do interviews and talk about the economy, national debt, and then I'm going to be as nice as I possibly can to them. This is not going to be some type of CNN bashing or Fox News bashing of another party. I just want to see exactly what their thought process is for all of this, which would be interesting. So if I can just get one of those people, honestly, it's going to be hard enough to get a senator, but if I can just get one, I would be very happy with it. Again, it'll be a challenge, but I finally worked out a template for myself that's not too long, but it kind of lets them know that they can, they'll get the questions beforehand so they have some time to think about the answers and write the answers out so they can have scripted answers, whatever. I don't care about that. But I'm not going to try to go, Tucker Carlson or Anderson Cooper on their butts, so to speak, right? And hey, General Brandon. Also, my mom is on disability and they won't even let her save money. Anything over $2,500 and back, they lower her check. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they kind of force you to stay poor, which is very, very interesting. Because when I first started becoming good at trading, I was like, hey, Mom, you want me to kind of help you out and just like buy some assets in the market? But if she buys, Google, and a couple of years later it's worth like 50% higher, and she makes like $2,000 off the investment, she would lose $2,000 in her from the government check. Plus, she would have to pay taxes, so it'd be a net loss for her. So again, it doesn't make much sense for these people to get off the system. Now, my mom physically can't work. She literally goes to physical therapy to walk and do her daily stuff, and she spends like 16 hours a week in dialysis. It's hard to find a job when you're kind of drained off of a dialysis basis, right? But I know there's other people that aren't on disability that can work, but it's just more convenient to just take money from the government. And honestly, while I don't think it's right, am I going to criticize them for taking free money from the government? No. I never feel bad for people that take free stuff from the government. Like if it's gonna help your life, or it's gonna give you the life that you want, your the pursuit of happiness, so to speak, go for it. My pursuit of happiness is moving to Nicaragua, so hopefully they can let me have some happiness over there as well with their tropical suns. Let's see. The bank, yeah, it's rough, General Brandon, yeah. And hey, Elijah, happy to see you back as well, everybody. So right now, Binance Coin is up a little bit. Bitcoin is still chugging along here. Probably best for the Bitcoin with the 4-hour chart, though. I'm just hoping we have this one nice pump here, and that'll really take us back up to at least $23,500. After that, we'll see if we can kind of sustain that. But what are we at? It's almost 8 o'clock my time. The 4-hour candle is almost done. I would say these next 4 hours, everybody, are going to be very, very crucial if you want to see the market continue to move upwards. Without this next move on the 4-hour chart, we're probably going to be breaking back down. Not the end of the world, but it might take us back down here, I would say, probably to like 22,200. Maybe about a 1,000-point loss. That 1,000-point loss could cause altcoins to definitely have a little bit of a drop around 5-10%. And that'd be kind of scary for some people out there that may just be hopping in the market because the market just started to become fun again, right? So keep an eye on it, everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Members, get ready for a few videos I have planned for tomorrow. I wanted to do them for today, but I didn't have time. My computer was breaking down, or there was a dust buildup in my computer thing, so I had to take apart my computer and de-dustify it with my, it's on my sofa, but I got an electronic air duster. It's awesome, but it's also a pain to open up my computer and unplug literally every single thing, which I have like, probably like 10, 15 things plugged into my computer at any given time. So we'll see how that goes. But tomorrow I can look forward to some stuff. And tomorrow also, everybody, guys, again, just if you have a phone, which I think all of you guys do, tomorrow's that day. Have a phone, which I think all of you guys do. Tomorrow's that day to kind of watch and see what the NASDAQ and the SPY are doing. Are they going up against some of those resistance levels, or are they just getting smashed by them? We want to see some testing out. We want to see another robust day like we did today. That's going to be a great sign for Bitcoin to start heading back up to 25,000. Again, towards the end of this week and next week, we have a lot of big earnings plays. Those are going to be huge. But until then, the market is still looking like we can go a little bit higher. And if you guys want to play around with that, awesome. Just have your stop losses and just be aware of what the market is doing. And again, the one thing I'll say, last thing I say, probably more than one thing here, but the interesting thing from the one guy's YouTube channel, I forget his name, sorry. Usually, new 4-hour candle just started as well. Usually Tuesdays are the days where we start seeing reversals. So tomorrow's Tuesday. Hopefully we'll continue and have a good strong move, but usually Tuesdays are the last big day out of a rally. And, throughout the day, Tuesday or Wednesday, we tend to start coming back down. So just be aware of that, everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow and have a great rest of your day. Guys, watch some of the videos I'm posting daily. It helps the channel a lot as well. And besides that, have a great rest of your day, everybody. Again, look at your phone and bathroom break. Just see what's going on. Won't hurt. Bye.